Today, we're taking a look at the top 25 vintage baseball cards that were sold on eBay August 2024. Few rules. Vintage baseball, I consider 1979 or earlier. No duplicated cards allowed, but if there's autos or variants, those are allowed. And graded and raw cards are allowed as well. So first, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is on Mantle. They are a social media platform for collectors, which is awesome because the whole focus of the platform is collectibles. And you can see right over here, there was a post recently about Honus Wagner's quote unquote true rookie card that's even rare about the T206. Now, I'm not familiar with that specific card. I am familiar with his 1903 E107, but this one mentions it was before he played in major leagues. So I don't know if I would consider that a rookie card in comparison to his E107, but that's still an awesome piece of knowledge I didn't know. And there's a lot of people that post things like that. So if you want to kind of increase your knowledge on different types of sports cards or non-sports cards, it's a very fantastic resource. And you can even post your own cards. So you can see, for example, I posted this Satchel Page SJC4 to my Mantle piece, which is a collection of your own personal items, or you can look for things to buy and sell as well. But this is a Pittsburgh exhibit that's really, really rare. So imagine kind of like a mixture of Twitter and Instagram, but you don't have to deal with all the political nonsense with this election season. So since they did sponsor this video and the platform is for free, I do have a link down below in the description and the comment section. Again, it's free to sign up, and they are supporting the channel as well as this top 25 series. So if you guys do find these videos valuable and you like them, help support the channel and sign up and check out my profile. All right, we're going to start off with number 25, which is a Topps Action Hank Aaron All-Star stickers. This was a test issue card. There's 3 different panel stickers in the set. This sold for $10,000. Now, I want to expand on my information on this because I'm nowhere near familiar with this test issue. I know I wouldn't say a decent amount, but enough to get by with some of these Topps test issues. But this one I've never seen, so I was interested in it. And I found a really good website, baseball-cards.com. And this is kind of the uncut sheet over here to the left, but let's go over their information. Now, they're my favorite Topps issues, 1968. They're trying fancy of young collectors. Baseball action stickers, also called Action All-Star stickers. 68 was a huge year. They had a lot of oddballs, right? 3-part sticker panel strips containing die cuts. They were packed. Mantle, Mays, Aaron, right? 16 different panel stickers in the set, but only 12 contain different panel stickers. 13, 16 reused panels from the other 12. They tell you about a little bit about the size and things like that. 1 sticker packs in 1968 with 12 packs per box at just 10 cents a pack. You could put them together for $1.60. What a steal. But this shows you an example of what the pack looks like and what was inserted in the pack. So it looks like that Hank Aaron was ripped apart, right? Because you can see over here, we have 1 player, and then you have these 3 together, and you can see that the design, right? 3, 3, 1 player, 3, 3, 1 player, and that's the Aaron itself, just to go back over here. So I don't think they would be able to slab that whole thing, and I could be wrong. But either way, something that I've learned, and it says proof sheets, usually from Topps Vault, have shown up. The sheet is missing the autographs, and you can see over here, I don't know how well that can be shown. Oh, actually, that's this right over here, right? No autograph on that Aaron, and you can see autograph. So that's how you know it's one of those test sheets or press sheets. All right, I'm not going to go into that much information about every card, but just coincidentally, that's number 25. Number 24, another Hank Aaron. This is 1954 in A6. One of the big 3 rookies in 1954. We'll see a lot of these in the video today, but I do want to ask you guys a question if you want to put down a description. Which Aaron would you rather have? Would you rather have this one right over here for $10,000, or would you rather have this for $10,300? High grade rookie or a really rare test issue? A 1956 Mantle. This card's been featured a lot in these videos, minus the autograph, but this is a Triple Crown year, first card since the Bowman takeover, and this sold for $10,388. We have a 1952 Jackie Robinson. They were a Canadian grading company, and it was a card next to the Mantle on the 52 sheet. What I will say is, while the corners and like the overall presentation looks nice on this card, this is not a 5, and the reason why, and I'm sorry if anyone from KSA is watching, but over here, it looks like this was erased or there's like a pencil marker. There's something going on over here. I can't 100% tell what it is, but if you're going to cross this over to a PSA, SGC, or in BVG, I don't think you get that 5. And I'd say CGC too. I think they all have their different standards on either print effects or writing. Again, I think this is writing, but I can't tell without doing a further inspection in person. Number 21, we have a 1952 Eddie Matthews. Now, this is a fun card for trivia because it's actually the most expensive Topps rookie card in low grades. That's not a parallel. I'm talking about mostly vintage, right? This one in a 5 sold for $11,000, but even in a 1, it sells for a few thousand. It's more expensive than a 55 Clemente. If you think about rookie cards each year, right? 52 has a few rookies. Eddie Matthews is the biggest rookie in the 52 set. And then you go to 53. There's no rookies that outsell Matthews. 54, you still have Aaron, but Eddie Matthews outsells it in lower grades. And not high grades, but lower grades, right? Then you have 55, which Clemente is the most expensive. 56, Aparicio, and you can keep going forward, right? But Eddie Matthews is going to be your most expensive across the board in lower grades. All right, 1953, Mickey Mantle. Second year Topps. This is a really old cert, which kind of concerns me sometimes with colored borders because they were pretty liberal with their grades. But you can see over here this sold for 11,000, and it's not a bad one for the edge wear down at the bottom. T206 Ty Cobb, second most popular Cobb front, 4.5 on this one. It's not a rare back. This sold for 11.5. 1960 Mantle. There's 29 PSA 9s, 8 PSA 8.5s. So still a good amount that are higher graded, but this one sold for $12,000. 52 Willie Mays in a 5. This is his first Topps card. Not horrible centering, although it is top to bottom, and this sold for about $12,100. 1939 Play Ball Ted Williams. There's actually 3 different backs you can find with this card. It's pretty OC for a 7 for an SGC 7, at least in my opinion, based off SGC's grading quality. Both that out of the way, this sold for $12,250. If it was centered better, I would see it going for a lot more. And I say that because I'm pretty sure like 5s and 6s, they could range from like 7 to 10K. And usually there's a pretty big jump when you go to like 5, 6 to a 7 in pre-war. T206 Cobb in a green. This is more expensive than the red background. It's probably his most popular one. I think it's most popular because there's less of them out there. Personally, I like the red design better than the green, but that's my opinion. And this sold for $13,900 in a 4. All right, up next is a 1957 Mickey Mantle in an 8. Now, these are very tough to find center. This actually isn't too bad centering wise. I'm telling you, these are terribly centered most of the time. Maybe not an 8, but when you find them in mid grade. There's 110, 22 9s, 10 8.5s. Another 57 PSA 8 sold for $10,000 this month. Didn't look at the image because I'm just looking at the high sales, but just wanted to call it out. There's a $4,000 difference between the two. Up next, a 1955 Roberto Clemente in a 7 old cert, but new slab on this. And one of the big 3 rookies in 55. You have Koufax, you have Clemente, and you also have Killebrew. Although Killebrew in a different level than Clemente and Koufax. But I still count it as one of the bigger rookies in that set. Regardless, $14,250 in a 7. A 1963 Rookie Stars of Pete Rose in 8 sold for $14,910. A little bit breakdown of higher grades. 19 8.5s, 39s, and 110 out there. 1955 Koufax with an inscription. I wonder if this is from his most recent signing. You have the MLB debut over there, as well as a nice signature here in the bottom left. Being a 6 and a 10, this sold for $14,999. What I will say is there's a PSA 5 with a 10 auto that also did $8,000. So one grade on that card, and possibly the addition of that inscription made a huge price impact on this Koufax rookie. But before we jump into our top 10, let's take a look at a few honorable mentions. Honorable mentions are cards that just missed out based off of prices, or if there's multiple cards, as everything I want to feature in this video is one card at a time. Up first is a Luis Aparicio. Man, there's 9 9s with qualifiers. There's only 3 PSA 10s over there, But what makes this interesting is I saw that there was a recent sale of a 9 OC at REA that did $450. Normal 9s typically do about $6,000, but check this out. The sold price was $2,500. Now, I didn't match up the certs to see if this was the same one that sold at REA, but if it was, someone just pulled out a really, really great piece of profit on that. So yeah. Up next, a 1970 high series sheet. You can see the bench at the bottom, right? And just to point out with you guys, there's bench. There is Nolan Ryan. There's probably a few other ones. Another Nolan Ryan over here. We have another bench there. There's 1, 2, 3 Nolan Ryans on this sheet, and there's 2 benches? 1 bench, 2 bench. There's probably a few other names on here, but those it stood out to me right away when I think of the 1970 high series. But regardless, this sold for $4,500. A 1949 Jackie Robinson rookie. In my opinion, should be classified as MC or OC. It's pretty off-centered. Although it does have sharp corners, this one sold for $8,100 and a 6. This was a 2-piece Mickey Mantle lot, kind of random, having both 8s and a 63 and a 68. $8,300. 63s aren't the easiest to find in 8 shape. 1933 Gehrig in a PSA 4. This design is also card number 92. This sold for $92.50. 1953 Ed O'Brien with a slab as old as the card. There's only one PSA 10, 6 9s. So for those people fighting on the registry, yeah, that's gonna be one of the cards that they really want. And this one sold for about $9,700. A full 1956 baseball complete set. There's 9 graded cards. I showed 8 of them over here. There's a BVG6 Koufax as well. What I will say is, look at how faded that 56 Amaze is in a 6. Man, that should not be a 6. But regardless, this set sold for $10,000. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at our top 10. So up first, we have a 1954 Ernie Banks in an 8, also known as Mr. Cub. As I mentioned earlier, one of the big 3 rookies from 1954. And the 8 sold for $15,000. What I like about this 8 is there's space here at the top, which typically you don't see that often on Banks cards, although you should when higher grades. 1956 Mantle, a Triple Crown year. I talked about that a little bit earlier. But this is no autograph, and it sold for $15,000. Although it looks like there's like a dot above the cap. 1951 Maze in a 5.5. Little centering issues, but the card looks really nice, at least in my personal opinion. And recently at auctions, there's been a lot of high grade Willie Mays cards. I've covered in some of the videos. I believe there's an 8, 8.5, and a 9. That's all sold within like the last month of him passing away. This 5.5 sold for $15,208. A 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth, one of the 4 Ruths in the set. This is the yellow background. 3.5, $16,300. 1949 Leaf, Jackie Robinson, probably his most popular quote-unquote rookie card. This sold for $16,499. We're jumping into the top 5 now, and we have a 51 Mickey Mantle. I can't tell if like above that Mickey Mantle, if that's like a print defect, if that's someone's hair, if that's a scratch on the slab, but the card looks beautiful, especially for a 5. It looks really, really nice. I know that, again, 51s always have their centering issues, so this one has it as well. Sold that with the Maze, but this one sold for $30,000. And number 4, 1932 U.S. Caramel, who Gehrig in a 6, $30,000. My favorite 32 Caramel is not the sports one that features boxers and golfers, but the President's Bigs. You can find them in 3 different colors. 1956 Maze in a 9. There's 33 9s out there, no PSA 10s. This one sold for $42,000. 1949 Leaf Satchel Page short print within the set. I want to say the pop on these are like 50, somewhere around there. Very, very tough card to find. It's either 50 or like 100, and I could be completely off, and I do apologize. I should have done a little bit of research before, but I think this is a great looking 3. If you graded this one 5 years earlier, this is probably a 4 or a 5, assuming that there's no defects on the back, because I only see the front image here. But this one sold for $46,939. And the top selling card, I didn't even put a bullet point, but it's this 1.552 Mantle. And not the best eye appeal on this one. But hope you guys enjoyed this month's baseball video. If you want to check out last month's, I have it directly on the screen. I'm also going to put it down below in the description and the comments section. And thank you to the following channel members: Giles, Alaska Picker, and Aaron Herbert. You guys can join the channel as well, and you'll get a shout out at the very end of these top 25 videos. And make sure to support on Mantle because they are helping out with the series. All right, guys, I will see you in another video.